Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for short track racing in the CIL. Coming to you live from the virtual Martinsville Speedway for round 7 of the Garage Shop College Cup Series. We are out here today, only 2 races before the end of the regular season. A lot of points still up for grabs. I will be one voice in the booth tonight. I'm Alex Gagnon. Alongside me, as always, Josh Crane. Josh, first short track, pure short track of the season here, and the Garage Shop College Cup Series' summer season here. What should we expect?
Yeah, it's gonna be Martinsville, so it's gonna be close together. These drivers are gonna have to negotiate for the bottom line here in these Gen 4 cars. It's gonna be a little bit tricky as they have to go and really compete for that bottom line, because any NASCAR fans who were around for that little bit there, um, early 2000s, mid 2000s, that bottom line was at a premium. So that's gonna be the case here tonight. These drivers are going to have to use patience both when they get down there and when they get up there.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to have to. Patience is going to be the name of the game tonight. How much do you have, and how much are you going to give your competitors? Because this is not the easiest place in the world to pass. There's not a lot of areas to do it, and it's even harder to do it without, maybe having to brush shoulders with your neighbor a little bit, as we see Edward Sanchez on track here for Baruch. There's so little room at Martinsville. It's the name of the game, is how do you maximize track position, and how do you find a way to get around someone when there's so limited passing options. It'll be really interesting to see how the drivers try and traverse this tonight. I'd imagine if this stays green, we'll see some really interesting pit strategies, seeing cars trying to get out ahead of traffic before a potential caution. I have a feeling drivers are going to have to get creative if they're going to find their way to the front of the field tonight.
Yeah, that's going to be the case for sure. It's going to be opportunistic from these drivers to try and get passes. It's going to be tricky for them to negotiate these tires. Remember, these are the 900, 800 horsepower Gen 4 cars that we love here on iRacing and in CIL for the summer. And so the result of that is going to be drivers who are slipping up off the corners. And Alex, those drivers that are behind are going to have to measure their reaction times, because you're going to have drivers that aren't matching your braking point in the corner, and then you will have those slips off the corner, and there's going to be a lot of accordion, especially here at the start. I would not be surprised if we warm up here with a couple yellow flags.
I could certainly see it, but that brings qualifying to a close, so let's run down tonight's starting lineup. Clint Halterman for UNC Charlotte puts it on pole this evening, a 19.404, a blazing fast time around this little half mile. Cody Hunley for ETSU is second. Andrew Williams for Clemson, picking up his first ever win last week, is third. Ryan Wilson with a really strong effort. He's fourth for Minnesota State Mankato. Nick Stockner for Clemson is fifth, alongside Matthew Nordberg for NC State. Zach DeWale for St. Clair College is seventh, alongside Thomas Toomey out of the University of Virginia in eighth. Jason Willott from Drexel is ninth, alongside Dustin Buck out of Waldorf University. And row 6 is Connor Levy out of Arizona State, alongside Kent Hundley of Northeast State Technical College. In 13th, it is Garrett Fitton from Arizona State, alongside Edward Sanchez from Baruch, who we saw on track just a moment ago. Alex Hallinar returns tonight from Binghamton University, alongside Matthew Morton from Ohio State. In 17th, it is Andrew Burrell from Clemson, alongside Timothy Wilms from Drexel. 19th, Dylan Godinez, alongside Tyler Klingensmith from Robert Morris. 21st is Spencer Brown from UNC Charlotte. 22nd tonight is Tony Brown from the Queen's University of Charlotte. And I do believe that is our full field, unless there is a 23rd car that I was not aware of. But that does seem to be our starting lineup tonight from Martinsville.
That completes the lineup, and you can see these drivers are ready to go. They're gridded up. It's going to be 2 pace laps, Alex, here at Martinsville. You mentioned that it was going to be a cool night a little bit earlier. It is just about 80 degrees on a track for the drivers, and so they will have the grip. They will have a lot of horsepower, but the temperature will help them a little bit with the grip, and so we'll get to see how they fare this evening. But yeah, that's going to be a big question mark for these drivers, and it's going to be a little bit tricky to get 20 of these 900 horsepower machines around here.
Yeah, and turn one real estate on the opening restart is going to be at a premium. So we'll see if everyone plays nice in turn one, or if they want to really be a little aggressive with it. Lights appear to be off on the pace car. I don't know if they're coming in yet. Oh, now they're off because the pit lane is so far back. So, yep, coming around this time, it'll be one to go to the green, Halterman and Hundley on row one. That opening dive is going to be a doozy. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, it is. You can see a couple of good schemes back there from everybody from Minnesota State, Mankato, back there to the Flames on a lot of those Clemson and North Carolina machines. Story to watch is going to be Matthew Morton and Ohio State University qualifying much further back than I anticipated. You can see that Buckeye machine right next to the Binghamton machine there in the corner. But right now, Alex, it's the leaders coming to the green.
Yeah, they are. Pace car peels off as they round through 3 and 4. The green flag's in the air. And here we go for 200 laps of racing at Martinsville as they dive into turn one.
And nobody in trouble yet. The leaders look to have figured it out thus far. Big 3 wide. Looks like North Carolina State got shuffled up to begin this one. They're going to have to get sorted out down in the corner. Drexel's going to look low. And around, it looks like that's Clemson around right there. So that's not gone well.
Off the nose of another Clemson car. Stockner and Williams were looking eye to eye coming off of turn 4. It will bring out the caution. I don't know if the contact was between those two or not. But that is certainly not how Clemson University wanted to start this race. That's a long way to go to be doing that on lap 1.
That is, yeah, that was not on the bingo card there. We expected some excitement, but maybe not from the same group right there. But maybe we can have a look as we go back. Alex, it looks like these cars were trying to negotiate their way in the corner. You can see Drew Williams right here. This is coming off the corner. So does he slip or does he get loose into the corner? Remember, it was another Clemson car. Oh, and it looks like the leader was ETSU while we were there. And around it goes. So just, yeah, we talked about it. Not agreeing on how to get through the center of that corner was the 1-2-4 car right there. And big trouble from all those drivers.
Yeah, that's really an advantageous situation for Cody Hundley, making the pass on the leader before the time of the caution as he dove in the turn 4. But yeah, no, Williams just trying to check up to make sure he doesn't drive through Clint Halterman and, trying to take a bit of a softer entry. Stockner trying to really force it in, knowing that there was cars right behind him. And, one car drives in to the corner, one tries to lay off and get a good exit, and those two tend to meet more often than not when they're running nose to tail.
Yeah, and we saw that. I wonder if he was trying to race Minnesota State. Yeah, there's what do you do if you're North Carolina State? Good on him to get on the binders right there, and I think that's a 0X for the Wolfpack. And
yeah, it looked like he kept that machine pretty clean.
He did, so good on there. That is not an easy task. And I think you're right, the control car here will be the East Tennessee State Buccaneer, Cody Hundley. And so this is an opportunity here. Clint Alterman did not defend that lead there on the restart.
If there's one car that should be taking note of that, I feel like it's got to be Zach DeWale, who's currently the 4th car in line there as the outside car. Obviously, Clint Halterman knows that now he has an opportunity to get that back on the outside since Hundley got around him on the outside. But if I'm Zach DeWale, you started a little farther back in the field. All of a sudden, you're up toward the front with a couple cars ahead of you spinning early. If he was able to catch the fact that Hundley got around Halterman, he could try and use that to his advantage to get by the 56 here. But also, if you're Halterman, you might just be trying to get back to the lead here on that the outside of row 1.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan, and I don't know, maybe. I mean, I expected to see a lot of motion forward marching down on the bottom side, that lane, but maybe the outside will have something to say off the corner. But tell you what, good run right now for Ryan Wilson there from Minnesota State Mankato, getting the job done there. Qualified up front, like top 5, and
yeah, he
hanging
qualified
out
in the 2nd row and is still holding on to it here despite the early carnage up front. So. Pace car peels off here. We're going to get back to racing at Martinsville in just a moment. The lead pack rolls through 3 and 4. Green flag back in the air. Both cars jumping on the throttle. Here we go once again at Martinsville, and Hundley immediately jumps up to take away the lane from Halterman.
Hundley does, and Ohio State jumping down to the inside. Hundley's back up at the front there, and it looks like we are maybe under caution again as we get slowed down. That is not the line, so yeah, it looks like it's going to be caution again there for these drivers, and we'll get to see what happened.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. It was definitely toward the back of the field because the front seemed more or less sorted out there coming off the corner. Looks like the 26 of Edward Sanchez's cars looks a little worse for wear. That Baruch College car. You see very much in the middle of this pack here on the inside that blue 26. So here they come to the green flag.
Yeah, looks like they get started. Oh, just spun those tires. Yeah, can't light those rear tires up. We talked about the power and collect. Yeah, nowhere to go with the car pointing perpendicular here at Martinsville Speedway. It's not the widest racetrack that these drivers go to. So that's going to be unfortunate for Baruch and for those schools behind him as well.
Yeah, that looked like NC State. That also looked like Queens College, the 719 that was the third car on the scene there. Yeah, if you're Matthew Norberg, especially because you're a couple cars back at this point, there's probably a 0% chance he was able to see that till it was too late. Oh, you see him get up and over. I didn't even realize he got so high up, and as he tries getting off the throttle, the 719, I guess, did not see the fact that the line was trying to check up, and that's how we ended up in the situation we did.
We did, and that's a good shot on board. However, look how hard it is, Alex, to see just nothing but car in front of you, and suddenly we're going, and they're all stopping. Yeah, it's going to be a test of reaction times there for anybody behind that Baruch incident.
Yeah, and like even if your reaction time was flawless, I mean, the car won't just immediately go from 70 to 0 like on a dime. You need a little bit of ground, so just a tough chain reaction for those cars. Matthew Nordberg barely escaped the first one, was not able to escape the second one here, so it's been a rough opening 10 laps for NC State.
And that's got to be an irritated driver behind that Wolfpack car. But back up at the front, it's continuing to be the 110 show here for East Tennessee State. They're going to bring that car. Looks like 719's Tony Brown will be a wave around here, so he'll get that one of those lap backs. I think it should just be one lap that he'll get back on the lead lap. Maybe they'll even knock some of those fenders out that you see on your screen right there, and these drivers will get back underway.
Yeah, and hopefully now that they've got the opening race jitters out, they can sort themselves out, and we can get a bit of green flag racing here at Martinsville, because it's been a very stop and start affair to this event. But the lights are off on the pace car. Tony Brown will take the wave around. Hundley and Halterman once again row 1. Wilson and DeWale once again row 2. So no changes up in the front 4 in that very, very short stint. So another opportunity perhaps for Halterman to try and get a better jump on the restart to stay alongside the 110 as they dive into 1.
Yeah, I think that's what these drivers will attempt right here. We get set to go racing one more time. Here we go. It will be these drivers across the start line. Here they go into East Tennessee State. A great jump, and look into the inside of St. Clair College is third place. In fact, the door closes on Ryan Wilson, but he's still right there.
Yeah, they get it sorted off the front of 1 and 2. Here they come in the 3 and 4. Wilson under attack here from Kent Hundley around the outside, that 112, trying to get by Thomas Toomey. And now the caution is out once again. Connor Levy in the wall in turn 3, as is Garrett Bitton, both Arizona State cars around. Not sure what happened there, but a rough sequence of events for ASU.
Yeah, not what you want there for the Sun Devil crew. I will have to see if that was some friendly fire or if that was just two teammates who were kind of around each other, stuck in the wrong situation at that time.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can pull up the replay here as we see Garrett Bitton peel off toward pit road. Connor Levy elects to stay out. Looks like Dustin Buck was also involved. So here we see the 42 and the 14. Got the 13 of Matthew Morton behind him. Oh, and just a disagreement on when to get into the corner leads to that one. Looks like Levy was trying to brake a little early to not drive through the back of Jason Wallet. Matthew Morton thought he was going to drive a little farther in. And that 13 really sent the 14 for a ride there, and then just unfortunately collected the 42 of Vitten as well.
It just looks like he wasn't ready for that move right there. And a tragedy that, yeah, the 42 right there just involved. So both Sun Devil cars, that's not what you need right there. And I'll tell you who is up near at the front here. Second place is going to Zach DeWale right now. So I think that he snuck around. Two things here, Alex. I think he did sneak around before that yellow came out. Finds himself in second place right now. But seeing as how the bottom is the place to be at the moment, I might take that starting spot there with the 07. So we're going to see if St. Clair can get down when that 110 car jumps out from East Tennessee State. But not a bad time to be a UNC Charlotte 49er.
It really has seemed like the outside works on the restart through 1 and 2, but then you would need to make sure you have a way in on the backstretch going into 3 and 4. Otherwise, you'll just get left out to dry. That's when everything starts to get back up to speed, and that's where things really start to settle into that line that we're expecting here. But once everyone's still accelerating, it almost looks like people can be a little more aggressive going around the outside, just a smidgen, but not enough to make it work beyond any corner outside of the opening one on a restart. But yeah, Zach DeWale making it work right now, and now as they're starting to get filed up 2 by 2 once again. A bit of a different look up front, as now Cody Hundley will have Zach DeWale to contend with as opposed to Clint Halterman. Halterman will be third with Ryan Wilson fourth, and then it's Kent Hundley and Thomas Toomey fifth and sixth. Kent Hundley already up about, say, 5 positions or so from where he started.
Yeah, Kent Hundley is going to have his work cut out right now. And Zach DeWale is going to have to figure out how he's going to get down inside. You can see he's setting it up right now. He wants to be down on the inside right when East Tennessee State pops out. They come to the line. There goes East Tennessee State, an opportunity for St. Clair to get on the inside. Well, I'll tell you what, neck and neck down in the corner, the 0-2 looking right there, and suddenly it's on for the lead here at the front, Alex.
Zach DeWale holds the outside through 1 and 2. He's got a nose ahead diving into 3 and 4. Not a whole lot of room for both cars to navigate. The 0-2 gets pushed up a lane. Hundley does not get a good exit, though, and the caution is out once again. Boy, oh boy, the 68 looked to be a little worse. Oh, Spencer Brown, the 188 there. That front is completely caved in. Don't know what happened to him. Let's take a look here. He's in the middle of the pack here, restarting. He's that red and white garage shop car as they dive into turn 1.
Yeah,
everything seems
underneath.
sorted.
Looks like Tim Wilms giving a lot of room inside. Oh, and a big movement right there. I don't know if that was something. Yeah, it looks like 68 just collected there as collateral. Actually, off the nose of North Carolina State University. So the Wolfpack continuing their difficult night here. But yeah, for Spencer Brown, I don't know if that was.
It just looked
like he got a little bit gassed up.
Well, Stockner also directly into the wall on the restart. He's lucky to not have collected Connor Levy in the process. But yeah, it looks like he slides up a little bit, makes contact with the 23, and as they're both trying to catch it, just a second bit of contact that sends the 188 sideways into the backstretch wall. I don't know. That's a tough one, but you gotta keep a line coming off the corner there, I feel like.
Yeah, it looked a little bit tight into the corner, and was already up kind of next to that Clemson machine, making a little bit of contact, and at that time looked like, just got a little bit loose there in the gas, and then trying to save paint. Yeah, just not what you need there, especially at the beginning of this one. 10% done with this race, so the time limit might come into effect here, Alex, but we'll see. This is maybe not so unexpected here while these drivers have to get sorted out, and then we'll have a little bit of a fuel run coming up soon.
Yeah, hopefully. And the other thing that's worth noting is that in the Garage Shop College Cup Series, there are no fast repairs So if you get that black and orange meatball flag saying you need to come down for repairs, you have to take every minute of it. There's no way to just click a button and get a new car here. So as cars start getting tore up, as they tend to do in short track racing, that also might start calming the field down a little bit. Once people start realizing, oh, if that keeps happening, I'm not going to have a car left to keep doing this.
Yeah, I think that tracks. That'll be something these drivers have to manage throughout the race. And pretty good opportunity here. There's a little bit of mix-up at the front, so the outside seems to be okay. And I don't know if Hundley there and East Tennessee State was just a bit cautious on the outside. I know we have seen those drivers be a little bit cautious on the outside, but I've seen East Tennessee State a little bit cautious wherever he is on track, trying to get that car to the end. But we'll get to see right now what he has. He will be pretty incentivized to get down to that low lane. See what he can do here.
Yeah, here they come once again, all stacked up. And here we go across the stripe. Zach DeWale, a great restart. Hundley trying to keep pace on the outside, battling with Halterman now, as we see Kent Hundley and Thomas Toomey leaning on each other during the outside of the corner. Spencer Brown peels off the pit road as the leaders flying through 3 and 4 here, and already the field's starting to get pretty spread out, coming only one lap into that run here on lap 26.
Yeah, single file up at the front, but Minnesota State Mankato trying to get away from this pack. We talked about Drexel University outside is not the place that you want to be there. Binghamton University is going to look inside, kind of a shallow entry to the corner. Yeah, not a surprise to wash up there, has to get out of it. It's an opportunity for Drexel to get their line, and I don't know if Binghamton will give it to him. Yeah, a little bit early on the brakes from Binghamton, actually quite early on the brakes right there from Hallinar. And the 23 now finds himself, that is the Clemson machine that was in contact earlier, and finds himself on the outside. So will it get done? Dylan Godina is there on the inside, a little bit of a slip off. Boy, a lot of these left front fenders, Alex, knocked in place, but straight away it looks like, that outside is not the end of the world for some of these drivers with these tires.
Yeah, I'm sure also because even though we're on lap 28, they're still pretty fresh tires. There hasn't been a whole lot of green flag laps run, as you see the 13 make a pass on the inside there of Nick Stockner in the 124. Matthew Morton charging up toward the front. As these tires finally start to wear down a little bit with some green flag laps, I'm sure it's really going to start fading away. But right now you see battling all over the field. Ryan Wilson really having a tough time through that corner, and that has allowed Alex Hallinar to pull up to the inside of Jason Willott. Willott trying to launch it to the outside, trying to take that higher lane. Wasn't able to carry the momentum quite the way he wanted. Didn't lose a ton, admittedly, but he lost enough where now the Binghamton car about 3/4 away, now fully ahead of Jason Willott, and now Alex Hallinar moves into 7th.
Yeah, he does. I'm looking for a sneak there. I don't think he quite had the tires, was the 23 there of Clemson University, trying to get a move on down the row right there. But we'll see if Clemson can make the noise. Hey, Clemson, but Drexel is having another peek at that Binghamton University machine, and that's going to be an opportunity here if that Binghamton machine runs wide. I see that Drexel car sneak on past.
That we might is now. It is Matthew Morton leaning on the inside of Connor Levy. These two have already had a bit of a scrap earlier tonight. Now you definitely know Levy's not going to give him any room if he can help it. He's on the outside, but trying to stay with him. He's now also stuck behind Andrew Burl, and Morton's going to use that to his advantage, take away the position. He's up to 12th. And now he's looking to the inside of the 888 going into 3, trying to make the pass. Little bit of contact there. Looked like Burl wasn't super happy about Morton diving in there, but he's able to get the pass done, as is Connor Levy, and both. Now maybe not. 14 still needs another corner to clear, but now will do so. And now heavy contact between the two Clemson cars. Burl and Stockner getting into it. Andrew Burl in the last couple laps is going the wrong direction, and the caution's out once again.
The caution is out, and a little bit of crime taking place right there. With those drivers trying to get around what appeared to be that 888 car, who was having a series of bad laps, we'll say. But that caution out right now. It looks like car in question, Tony Brown from Queens University at Charlotte. Trying to get that car up, around, and down into the corner we go. Maybe missing a little bit of traction on corner exit. And yeah, it looks like just stepping in a little bit too quickly. 900 horsepower. It's exciting to use it down the front stretch, but it's going to take a little bit more patience than that right there, Alex. So a little bit tricky for these drivers.
Yeah, and the main reason that I think it's called a caution is because that happened right in front of the leaders. You saw them coming off 4 as he was trying to get that car squared away the right direction. And that'll be a caution every time in iRacing's book whenever there's a car perpendicular in front of the leaders. But this could potentially be an opportunity for some cars to come down pit road. I don't know if they will, because there's been very little wear on these tires for where you would be for lap 36. But maybe they consider it. Not entirely sure. It's probably still a little bit early for them, though.
Yeah, we'll have to see how these drivers are thinking. I don't know that I want to use some tire sets up at this point, but maybe that's the case here. So going through, let's see, coming up on lap 40 here. So these drivers trying to get sorted out. But yeah, you'd like to see a little bit of action, a little bit of fuel run, and we did see from there in the mid pack. There's a couple stories going on, Alex. So Ohio State University started a little bit further back, up to 11th at this point in the game. We saw that Ohio State University would have that EOL from his contact with the 2 Arizona State cars. So Connor Levy there on your screen, a lap down right now, Garrett Vitton in the 42 Sun Devil car. Those 2 drivers are going to have to negotiate their way forward. And I think you mentioned it, Alex. This is going to be a time that these drivers are wary of each other. But even a little back further, I'll tell you who I was watching, Jason Willott. 2 things about Jason Willott is has given a very wide berth. When he ends up on the outside of a corner, he gives a lot of room to the car inside. But seems to be working for him because he's able to get that car turned around and, excuse me, not turned around, but he's able to get that car powered off the corner and generally doing quite well. But I do see that back up at the front. I see we're going 2 by 2, so that might mean 1 to go this time by. There in your picture. Last week's winner, Clemson University, and Drew Williams behind the wheel, that 23, but it's going to have to be maybe some sledgehammers there on that left front if he's going to get that car to the end. Right now, Alex, the control car, a familiar sight in that blue machine, St. Clair College.
Yeah, Zach DeWale has held on to the lead for the last restart or 2. We'll have to do it again here. Cody Hunley still holding on the second. Green flags back in the air. A great launch from St. Clair. Cody Hunley gets nearly run over going into the corner. Halterman goes by on the inside. Toomey thought about trying to get around on the outside. That could have been catastrophic for the ETSU driver. Oh, and Godinez is in the wall. Thought he was clear. Comes up directly in front of Jason Wallet. Looks like we're staying green as all cars were forward, but you know that's a tough break for Jason Wallet, who was on the charge, and then a wild car just appeared in front of him as Godinez thought he was clear up high.
I don't know if you can throw your Hans device while the car is in motion, but that would be tempting right there. We just talked about Jason Wallet giving a fair berth to each of these drivers that he's racing with, to be responded with. What do you say? Getting turned into. Yeah, I would not be happy if I was Wallet or Drexel, but back up at the front. It's going on right now. Back up at the front, East Tennessee State is that 110 car on your screen, followed closely by Binghamton. Kind of coming across the nose right there was Ryan Wilson in that Minnesota State car. But look who's moved up through the field. Clemson University trying to chase down right now Virginia and trying to hold off the Buckeyes right there. That's not what you need out your mirror, but I'll tell you what, Virginia is going to make some work here trying to get around that big green machine of Binghamton University.
Yeah, Thomas Toomey on the back of the 057 right now. A couple of alumni doing battle for 5th and 6th. As just ahead of, or just behind them, you see Ryan Wilson's view of all of this this freight train of cars ahead of him, trying to keep pace with the pack there. But Matthew Morton and Andrew Williams are a real battle of heavyweights so far this season. They combined have won half the races through the opening 6 rounds. As now you see Morton looking to the outside as Hallinar got a little slowed up. Toomey gets by on the inside. He's now 5th. Hallinar looking back on the inside, quick on the brakes. A good switch back from Williams not to get hit. And now Morton once again to the inside. Oh, and there's contact once again.
The same thing.
The exact same thing as Dylan Godinez and Jason Waller just a few laps ago. And once again, no cautions out. Hallinar able to keep it forward, only losing the positions to Morton and to Williams. But I'd imagine if they get back to the back bumper of the 23, there might be a shot thrown there. Even though it may not have been the 23's fault. It's in the heat of the moment, you just kind of go,
Yeah, that's some real physical action, and not unlike what we'd expect here at Martinsville. I'll tell you who's moving up right now. Baruch College started this one off a little on the back foot with the opening lap, but moving, well, I say right there, boy, power moves into the 888, and oh, moving down to block, that's not what you need. Jason Wallet now, he's trying to come back, and contact, the 888 is around, that is Clemson, that is Andrew Burrell, and he's got that car going, but not before we're back under caution, and Alex, we saw it unfolding, these two drivers not agreeing on who gets the line, and you're so focused on seeing a hole in front of you, you may not notice there's a bumper behind you.
Yeah, and that's the tough part with Martinsville is that you're constantly under attack. You're always having to keep your head on a swivel. And there's also no time to really breathe because you're never fully up the speed. As you see some contact there, a corner earlier between the 26 and the 888, as you pointed out. And then getting into the corner here, just, the 76 trying to follow the 26 through, the 888 trying to close it off, and some contact happens.
Yeah, it is, and that driver, Jason Willott, so he sees opportunity right here, and a big slip from Baruch off the corner. Baruch comes down. That's a bit aggressive, trying to block in the corner, and I think his eyes were so far forward, he just missed that braking point by the slightest, and I don't even know if he meant to stick his bumper, because we did say Jason was a pretty calculated driver. That was always going to be a long way back to make that move, and it's a high risk when Burrell is distracted like that. Trying to manhandle that car right there, and so not sure that was intentional. I think that was, certainly not an intentional incident, Alex. But I don't even think that he meant to go for any type of pass there. I just think he was getting picked up right there in that incident.
Yeah, and you try following the car ahead of you. It's the best you can do. And if you're on the outside, you think you have a gap, you try getting to the inside, and I feel like that's probably what happened there. So we're seeing Jason Wallet coming down pit road here. I guess it's time for him to get a little bit of repairs on that car, maybe some tires and fuel as well. We are past the quarter-way mark on lap 52 here of the scheduled 200 laps. Timer-wise, looking like we're right on pace here for the hour 40 allotted. If we're maintaining this pace of green to yellow ratio, as we see the pit stop strategy guide, you can see how people have been trying to break up these runs, whether it's damage or tires. The front 8 stayed out the whole time. After that, it starts getting a little different on the strategy based off of if people have come in for repairs or tires.
Yeah, a couple things stand out up near the front. Two of those cars who are going to start on the inside, Sanchez and Wilms from Baruch College and Drexel University, will be kind of the fresh tires compared to everybody in front of them. But 12th on back decided they were going to try and see the new rubber. So that's going to be an experiment because look at those cars. Thomas Toomey from Virginia, Binghamton University's Alex Hallinar, Robert Morrison's Tyler Klingensmith there as well. Actually, Dustin Buck getting some new tires on that car. So we will now conduct the experiment, see what kind of lap times those drivers are using. And that'll be kind of exciting because that'll be information these drivers want to know later in the race, Alex.
Yeah, if you're the front 7-8 cars, you're going to keep that in your back pocket for whenever you have to come into pit to see if there's much of a difference on the fresh tires. See how that's going to really change up the strategy here as we see the pace car peel off once again down pit road. It's going to be DeWale and Halterman, a new front row combo as they round out 3 and 4. Green flag in the air. We are racing once again at Martinsville, and once again that 02 just gets such a great launch down the front stretch. clearly ahead of the rest of the field here as they file in 2 by 2 behind him.
Thomas Toomey we talked about those cars up in front. Thomas Toomey just gobbled up, getting into the corner. That was some fresh tires right there. He's decided that he is moving forward. That Virginia car is looking to the inside of Clemson right now to try to take that spot from his ACC rival. Baruch College continuing with the maybe the bold tentative blocking. I don't know if those two words go together, but right there they are. Virginia continuing to get the job done. That is into the top 10 right there. And contact, that's a little bit of a wrinkle on Baruch right there. Now he's going to join the pushed-in left front club. You can see it there on your screen. Setting sights on Virginia now. And suddenly, Alex, I think we're beginning to understand. We know that Toomey is a driver who would use the most of those new tires out of the box. But nonetheless, I think that those new tires are good to back up at the front. It's on right here. A couple drivers. So the 112 has moved up into second. Northeast State Technical is trying to make his run at the lead for that group. And look who's on. Matthew Morton and the Ohio State Buckeyes have arrived on the scene. They're going to try and take away that spot on the inside right there, going down into one of these corners. We'll see if they get the move done under braking. So Alex, it's starting to shape up here. Got some green flag laps cooking.
Yeah, you see both Kent Hundley and Matthew Morton making moves in the early going of this restart. Now both of them second and third. Hundley has really closed on to the back bumper of Zach DeWale, trying to see if there's a way to set him up for a potential pass here. Only a half a car length between them. As you see DeWale now diving into turn one. Hundley braking a little earlier. Now looking to the inside as DeWale got a little out there through 1 and 2. Hundley's got a nose to the inside, now diving in to make it side by side through 3 and 4. The 112 looking to round out turn 4 and make the pass. He's got a nose ahead at the stripe, but here comes Zach DeWale back on the outside. Furious racing up at the front, and here comes Matthew Morton as well. We've got a 3-car tango for the lead.
Now we're going to see what lane the place to be is. That bottom side is looking good right now as East Tennessee State tries to go to work, and the yellow flag is out. The yellow flag is out, and I don't know who it was at the line. iRacing will sort these drivers out. Zach DeWale continues to march forward, but it appears I don't know if he's got it on or not. But a couple cars. Looks like 888 is getting turned around right there as these leaders make their way around. So we'll get to see who is on here. And it looks like, will it be on for pit road? Yes, it is not for the 0-2, but Kent Hundley dives in. Ohio State stays out, and the 49ers, Niner Esports, North Carolina, Charlotte will come down pit road. But, Alex, let's see. We can take a look at that. Maybe not the most timely caution we've had here tonight. We have seen this before. Drexel and Clemson, namely the 76 and the 888. Ooh, big wiggle off the corner right there. Coming down. Ooh, I don't know about that one. 888, had... Oh, it looks like the 888 was trying to get down right there and came in contact.
And he collects a couple of the cars there. Yeah, we've seen that happen a couple times tonight for Andrew Burrell, where he's been on the outside and has just tried fighting his way to the bottom, thinking there may have been a gap, or just trying to force his way in so he doesn't get freight trained on the outside. But here comes the 26 from Baruch College diving in there as well. And Matthew Nordberg has seemed to be the magnet of misfortune tonight. Everywhere he seems to be, trouble seems to follow.
Yeah, I would expect that the Wolfpack guys are they're getting that trailer ready to go. They are done with Martinsville for tonight. And there's always one every time we come to any one of these short, tight tracks like this. What do you want to say? That was we expected that drivers who were up on that high side, Alex, kind of hung out, if you will. We know they're going to be very motivated to make their way back down to the bottom and stop the bleeding, but he was there. Nothing you can do about that. That was too late, and so that's the result. Around goes 888 and Andrew Burrell, and we might have to keep an eye. Probably not yet, Alex, but we will have to keep an eye on the strike rule. These drivers will be pleasantly dismissed from the event should they gain 2 strikes. That would be at fault for 2 incidents, whether they offend someone else or they self-spin themselves. We saw that once from the 7-1-9. car as well, Alex. So yeah, probably a little bit early in this one for that, but as we go on, that may come into effect.
It certainly could, and because of that, the field getting really shuffled up through all that, as we see a couple cars on pit lane trying to either get repairs or new tires. So Zach DeWale is now going to have Matthew Morton to his outside, up 14 positions from 16th to 2nd. Cody Hunley still hanging around, and Ryan Wilson still in the picture as well. He's quietly been hanging in the top 5 all day. Nick Stockner, Connor Levy, row 3. So an interesting mix-up here at the front as the pace car peels in. They'll be restarting here on lap 68. DeWale and Morton will lead them around the ring. Green flag back in the air once again. The 0-2 trying to get that launch he's had so good over the past few laps. Got a pretty decent one, but Matthew Morton not letting him get away through 1 and 2.
No, he's not, but Matthew Morton's going to have decisions here because he's on the outside, but the longer he spends not on the bottom, you can bet that East Tennessee State University is going to try and follow through that hole if they can get there, although East Tennessee State a little bit further back right now. But these two cars, side by side, these two cars I don't think have pitted. We can check in a minute, Alex, but we are watching the battle here for the lead. The Buckeyes and St. Clair College through the final turn here.
Yeah, and almost a little bit of contact there between DeWale and Morton as Morton's trying to power his way around the outside. To your point, I'm pretty sure you are correct. Neither of those two cars have pitted, nor has Cody Hunley in 3rd, if my memory serves me correctly. But Matthew Morton able to complete the pass on the outside. The Buckeyes to the point on lap 70. DeWale will have to file into 2nd here, Cody Hunley 3rd. And now the question becomes, does anyone have something for the 13 as he tries to get away, or will Zach DeWale be able to reel him back in?
Well, both those things are a possibility, but I'll tell you what I see right there is the University of Virginia on those fresher tires. Look at that 19.8 compared to some of those 19.9s. Now, we know the guys at the front have been battling, but those might be those fresh tires. So the lap times will come in here. We'll leave the graphic up for a little bit and see how the drivers get on. But that is going to be something to watch on the ticker. Jason Willott actually pushed up a little bit high right there. And down in the corner, these drivers go. And leading this group, Ryan Wilson, continuing to have a good night tonight. Minnesota State Mankato, he's getting the job done. North Carolina State up in the wall. And Arizona State trying to duck below. Can Drexel do the same thing? Man, Jason Willott is trying to make the most of this race. There's 2 drivers in your screen, Alex, that would love to leave this one. Continuing up in the wall, just trying to give enough room right there is North Carolina State, but I think that sums it up.
Yeah, Matt Nordberg currently running 13th. He's on the lead lap, but he's getting really familiar with those outside walls on the straightaway. As Alex Hallinar now looking to the inside of Nick Stockner, not quite able to make the pass there. We'll get right back to the bumper. Oh, and the caution's out. I think it was just behind what happened here. Oh, and it's the 56 of Ryan Wilson. Ryan Wilson, and looks like Garrett Bitton got a pretty bad bit of that as well. Not entirely sure what happened, but we had just looked at Ryan Wilson a moment ago. He was leading a pack of cars about 5-6 deep, and apparently in the 5 seconds we could away, catastrophe happened.
Yeah, I think so. A little bit of commentator's curse. We had mentioned that Minnesota State at Mankato was having a night to remember here. Run it in the top 10 all night long, but what was the cause here? Oh, loose off the corner, and we talked about that reaction time, not quite enough, and pinball machine, and I don't think anybody made it through that one unscathed, and definitely not the 42 there. That's not what you want if you are a Sun Devil. So very tricky and unfortunate there. All these drivers were getting it sorted out. Yeah, what do you do in this position, Alex?
You know, honestly, if you're the driver, there's not much you can do if you're in the caution. There's just nowhere to go. Like, truthfully, it's just you run out of room and you just kind of hope you get through. But if you don't, meanwhile, on the pit strategy side of things, if you're one of the cars who hasn't come down pit road, I feel like you probably will need to at some point, assuming that the cars that get up to you are on the fresh tires. We'll have to see. Looks like the running order got very jumbled here I don't know if any of those cars are wave rounds, but there is some beat up hot rods in the front 5-6 cars there.
Yeah, it seems to be the case, and I think that we'll see as the wave arounds go on, and also these lap cars come to pit road. We'll see what happens, but we talked about the varying pit strategies. So as we go on here, Alex, we're going to have cars that do stay out, and it does make sense for them, and it just depends how many kind of yellows we have here to the end that these drivers get sorted out.
Yeah, and if the opening 78 laps have been any indication, I'm sure there's still a few more to come. But if this is the current running order from cars who have pit versus cars who have stayed out, it looks like it's going to be Alex Hallinar who will lead them to the green from Binghamton University. Robert Morris's Tyler Klingensmith will be on the front of the outside row, and then it's Clint Halterman and Matthew Morton behind. So looks like 2 cars stayed out while a couple of the leaders pit. And this is going to be an interesting obstacle for a couple of really fast cars running, 3rd through 6th. Hallinar's had some decent pace tonight. The 65 we have not seen on the TV much, making me think that he's been running toward the back of the field. So if you're Matthew Morton, you got to find a way to make the pass quickly and carefully.
Yeah, that's going to be in seeing the laps and some of those tires at the front there. The front row with the oldest tires here. I would anticipate that maybe some wheel spin is in order, but we'll see here. Binghamton University going to lead these cars to the line, and away he goes. Everybody away quite politely, we might recommend, and a big jump there, and sideways around goes Klingensmith. I think he does save it. Excellent car control. Clemson trying to get on down the field, but back up at the front. Yeah, that was a bit more physical than probably either of those drivers would have preferred, but I'll tell you what, it's on right here. These drivers are trying to get looking, and already St. Clair College is looking underneath the Niner Esports car.
Oh, now the caution's out for something farther back in the field. Looks like the 719 is backwards. Looks like Garrett Vitten's trying to get back up the speed as well. Not entirely sure what happened. Looked like it was off the exit of turn 4. We'll have to see. It looks like there was 3 wide actually in front of right there. As you see Ken Hunley diving to the inside there for a second, backed out of that. 719 on the inside. 42 on the outside. Oh, and just not communicating where they where each other was going, I guess. 719 tried going up, 42 tried going down, and they met in the middle.
Yeah, I think so, and I actually thought the 42 would have moved further off the wall right here. But you see, he wasn't even actually conquering. You know what? Maybe he thought that the 65 there was to the outside. Maybe he thought he was going to be a bit slow in that scenario, so you picked the lesser of 2 evils. Yeah, pretty tricky right there for the 42. I think it's easy from our perspective, Alex, but I think it's not so easy behind the wheel.
Yeah, no, it definitely isn't, and that's part of the reason why I moved up here to the booth a couple of seasons ago, let me tell you. I do not envy the battle that these guys have to put on, but I am thoroughly entertained by it, which is why I enjoy talking about it as opposed to being in it these days. But yeah, Alex Hallinar did a good job holding on to the front of the inside row there, being the control car on the last restart. So he will remain the front of the inside row. Clint Halterman now will advance to the front of the outside row, with DeWale and Matthew Morton being row 2. Looks like the 719 will have a wave around more than likely. We have a couple of takers for pit road as well. Looks like Edward Sanchez coming down. Drexel University's in, as is Spencer Brown. So a couple of cars getting service here on lap 84.
And maybe taking a little bit of time to knock those fenders out here at Martinsville. It's not too difficult to run around. It's not a big aerodynamic area, at least in these cars. We'll say that, at least in these cars. And I'll tell you what, yeah, Dustin Buck coming down pit road. He's going to try and get that car sorted out again back on pit road. But Tyler Klingensmith and Robert Morris, we saw him big wheel spin there at the beginning, not the end of the world, but was able to get that car back turned, but actually up to 12th position after the up and down moment there. So not the end of the world for that group. And then
Yeah, it looked like just a matter of, no one who was on the older tires tried braking a little earlier into the corner, and those on the fresher tires behind him wanted to drive a little deeper, and I think that's how they met. Luckily was able to keep the car out of trouble and keeps it in the current amount of pieces that it's in, because I hesitate to say in one piece because it looks like it's already been through a bit of a war tonight. But, definitely a good job to make sure everything kind of stayed in one piece. So the lights are off on the pace car, meaning we're going to go green on the next lap. They'll be taking the green on lap 87 here of 200. Hallinar from Binghamton University on the inside. Halterman from UNC Charlotte on the outside. DeWale and Morton, row 2. Row 3, Thomas Toomey, and that is Nick Stockner in the 124 on the outside of row 3. So pace car peels off once again down into the entrance of pit road in turn 3. They round the corners once again, going to go green for I can't even tell you what time this time around. Green flag in the air. Binghamton gets a pretty good jump, and here comes Zach DeWale to the inside of Clint Halterman through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's all on back in the midfield. Virginia continues to try and make the move. Actually, Matthew Morton under a little bit of fire. He's going to try and move to the inside. That's a tough door to close right there. A big risk from the Buckeye. I don't know if everybody would have backed out, but Thomas Toomey did, the Virginia driver. And not backing out at all is Zach DeWale. Zach DeWale late on the brakes, and there around goes. Collected is North Carolina at Charlotte, but I was going to say Hallinar and Binghamton University involved, and that is not what we needed.
Yeah, I tell you what, we've had in the past 10 laps, we had 2 cars who were not a part of the initial lead pack use some pit strategy to get up front, and both of them, in no uncertain terms, got run over in the past 10 laps. So fresh tires might be the move as we get a little race later into this race. As you see Hallinar trying to come down, and DeWale was just fully committed to grabbing the inside of the corner, and they met in a spot where only the 057 was going to lose out.
Yeah, that's correct. And the 0-2 here trying to make the most. He knows what's behind him. He's got to make his opportunities. We talked about at top of the show. And I don't even know if it was heavy contact, but once you lift the rear of these cars off the ground, Alex, there's no coming back from it. So that was the occurrence there. That was the result. Some of these drivers now, kind of in no man's land, they're going to see what they can do with their luck on pit road. So some of these drivers, Clint Halterman, looks like Drexel University as well, going to bring that car down, try and get the damage knocked off. And so that'll be a decision from those crews. I'll tell you who has moved into the top 10 after their race. Alex, you wouldn't believe North Carolina State.
That by the end of this race, there will be enough things that happen to the 076 to justify writing a book about it at the rate we're going. I mean, it seems like every other caution we've had tonight, he's been in the vicinity of. We could almost get like a real Forrest Gump sort of story about just like Matthew Nordberg being involved with basically every major event that's happened in this race in one capacity or another. And it's not like any of them have really been like, oh, it was his fault. It was just like he's been in the wrong place at the wrong time a lot tonight. But somehow still finds himself running P9 with a car that honestly doesn't look too beat up compared to the rest of the field.
I'd say I don't know if you can do a Formula One WEC wing change on the front there, but that front bumper is looking pretty good, Alex. So we'll see what the Wolfpack can pull off here in the second half of this one, getting to halfway, and has probably every season there's stories for the luck that comes and goes, and I gotta say that this season these Gen 4 cars, the one of the biggest speed to luck ratios that we've seen has been from that 076 car. He's up there, and then man, just cars materialize in front or alongside that make his life very difficult, but nonetheless P9 at the moment.
Yeah, he is. He's putting together a very tenacious run here tonight at Martinsville. Maybe has not been the fastest car tonight, but has certainly had to endure quite a bit. But they are grouped up 2 by 2, meaning that we are about to go racing once again. You see the pace car about to bring him to the green flag. It's Matthew Morton and Thomas Toomey, row 1 here. Thomas Toomey's debut on the front row tonight on one of these restarts. We'll see if the 166 has anything for the leader, as a pair of Clemson cars wait behind him. Green flag raised high in the flag stand, drops once again. Here goes Matthew Morton like he was shot out of a cannon. And it is Andrew Williams and Thomas Toomey battling for second.
Yeah, that's the battle right there for the ACC cars. They're going to go into the corner side by side, back a little bit further. Nick Stockner. Oh, Nick Stockner, a late block, or maybe we'll say late braking. The replay will tell, but that's going to be in the same area. I saw, I think it was maybe Hunley, maybe the 112, who pulled out to make a move, and it looked kind of like a standard Martinsville pass setup. I thought he had a run. I thought he had the pace, but yeah, it looked like the 124 pulled out, so we'll get a replay of that in a minute. But back up at the front, Matthew Morton remains your leader, and I don't think that second position was lost, so that 166 is going to stay put right where he is.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see the replay of this. Yeah, here we go. So we're taking a look here at Nick Stockner in the 124. He had restarted 6th. He was restarted 4th actually. You see, he was on the he was trying to block off Cody Hunley and then just got launched for a ride. I gotta take another look at this here. So as you see them going through 1 and 2, Cody Hunley only about a half car length behind, goes to make the pass to the inside, and then yeah, I don't know if that's late braking from the 110 or very early braking from the 124, but either way, they did not agree on where the braking zone was.
No, they didn't, and I'll tell you what, that's probably enough room. The 124 was over. That's probably, I mean, there's sometimes we talk about right and wrong, Alex, and sometimes we talk about risk. We've talked about it a lot tonight. Probably a high risk move from the 124. That's what he chose. And so it would then be the responsibility of ETSU to get slowed up in preparation for that corner right there. And yeah, though, but doesn't make much of a difference, because the 124, he can say that he's right all night, but he's going to be back there. I think he's actually on pit road now. He's trying to get that car sorted out, and maybe pull that back bumper out.
They are certainly going to try, but you know, when they finally go green once again, we will have hit the midpoint of this race, but we are just past the midpoint on the timer, so the timer may start taking effect here, as I'm looking at it, because we're on lap 98, and the midway point on the timer would be 50 minutes, of which we were just about to hit 52. So they're going to need to do a little bit more green flag racing in the back half here if they're going to make this scheduled distance. We see the 13 take the true shortest way around the track and roll over a bit of the infield there.
Yeah, it's getting pretty good at pacing right now, and so sometimes we have to entertain ourselves in times like these. 13 and the 166, though, they're going to entertain themselves pretty quickly with a little bit of strategy. We saw something that we don't always see, but it's a good oval move, and we've seen it from a lot of short track drivers. Austin Farr from Tennessee used to be very adept at it. Is coming out of the corner and keeping your group right there from coming down and keeping your competitor on the inside. So as we go green right now, look at the 166, keeping the Buckeyes down. Doesn't matter, though. Everybody's going straight as we get off, and now his biggest concern is that Clemson car
and there's
on
a spin in the back. I saw the 76 around. It looked like Jason Wallet was sideways before they even got to the stripe. Don't know what happened. Looks like Ryan Wilson may have been a part of it as well. Both of those cars no longer on the lead lap, so they were definitely at the rear end of the field. But yeah, as they were going green, I saw the 76 perpendicular to the rest of the field, so I don't know exactly what happened, but whatever it wasn't pretty.
No, it wasn't. We'll see if we can get a little view going on here. 76 is coming around, so these drivers are coming around to the green, trying to step on the gas. What happens here? Oh, big checkup. Big checkup from those drivers. And not sure what the miscommunication was.
I don't know either. It looked like the front part of the inside line got away just fine, but something in the back half got really wadded up, and it sent everyone on that inside group for a ride and a half. Yeah, we're going to have to go on board here with probably either the 76 or maybe the 56 to see what might have happened. So the 188 was ahead of the 76. It looked like he was a bit slow, but I don't know if the checkup started with the 188 or started ahead of him and the 188 was just reacting to it.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a classic move. Everybody, I should say that the drivers at the rear were, looks like Alex just coming to catch the field, and everybody would want to maintain their momentum there for that restart, and just didn't get back down to match the speed up at that point.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like it, and because of it, more time will burn off the timers. A couple more cars will bring it down pit road to try and get some repairs. But yeah, every time there's a caution, it just gets us that much closer to this one ending via timer and not via distance. So we'll keep an eye on that as this progresses. But they're going to need themselves a pretty solid green flag run if they have any hope of making the scheduled distance here.
Yeah, these drivers involved coming down. I do see the Binghamton car is trying to get his thing, get his car kind of off sequence, sorted out right now. And it looks like Timothy Wilms up to 14th right now. That Drexel car, ooh, that's not the toe that they put in that car at the start of this one. So I don't know if he's going to try and march onward or if that is as fixed as iRacing will permit that to be.
Yeah, and obviously points are important, but at what point do you say, wow, this thing's undrivable, bring it back to the garage, you know? That I wonder if that's going through the mind of some of these drivers as their cars keep getting beaten and battered. But either way, lights are out on the pace car once again. When we hit the stripe, it'll be lap 106. Pace car peels off once again. Thomas Toomey going to see if he can find something different here to stay a little closer to that 13 on the restart. He's gotten really a bad jump by each of the past two. We'll see if it's any different this time. As they come to the green, Matthew Morton waits really long to hit the accelerator. Makes the 166 really have to wait for it. The 23 will follow him through, and now the battle is on for third through fifth as you see Kent Hunley on the inside of Connor Levy.
Yeah, he's trying to get that Northeast Technical through their really good part of the season. We got to this midpoint of the season, and that Northeast State team, man, they fired up. That Shockeye car is moving forward at just about every track we go to, but a little bit further back in the pack, I see Clint Halterman making a move there on the 26. That's Baruch College and Edward Sanchez. He's trying to keep that car, and he can fight there on the outside. We've seen that tonight. We'll see where the talent here lies, and pretty good move. Just pushing up just a little bit and getting his own run off the corner is that 07, and you can do that now. The Zach DeWale machine, St. Clair College, he's going to make the most of the hole that was pre-existing upon his arrival to the scene. He will get through, and that will be a 9th place running right now for Baruch College, but he's got a hard-charging East Tennessee State behind him. And suddenly these drivers get a little bit patient, but Kent Hunley up at the front, he is going to have to fend off the hard-charging Ford Taurus of the Sun Devil right there. And then still marching forward, not done yet, is the Wolfpack North Carolina State. They have got a mirror full of 49er right now, but for the time being, 6th position, Alex.
Oh, and the caution is out once again. Would you believe it? I certainly would. Not entirely sure. It looks like it might be Alex Hallinar who I saw dropping down the table. Yeah, that the 057 looks not nearly as pristine as it did a little bit ago. So we'll see if we can see what happened to Alex Hallinar there. You see him, he's that green car with the B on the front, diving in on the inside of Nick Stockner, it looked like. Oh, and Spencer Brown just goes sideways and collects part of the field.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. In fact, we've seen seen that a little bit from a couple other cars tonight that get on the corner, and that straightaway looks very, very appealing, Alex. You got to get there, and then actually did a very good job to hold his brakes, and you can see that these cars, they're not the next gen car. They just they don't turn, so you get committed to the left, and then suddenly turning back right is not as pristine.
So a few more cars will come down pit road. Looks like Timothy Wilms, Dustin Buck, Alex Hallinar, Garrett Vitten's already in. A lot of cars bringing their, a lot of drivers bringing their wounded machines down pit roads. We'll take one more look at this. You see, Hallinar was on the inside of Stockner here. They were side by side through the corner, but had negotiated it pretty well. And then with Spencer Brown sideways off the corner, everyone tried diving low. Hallinar gets into the wall trying to avoid Brown. Stockner actually, I think, gets turned off the nose of the 65, just trying to dive out of the way. And obviously, it looks like the 65 didn't realize that's what was going on because he was coming off the corner there. Tough break for them, but man, just the hits keep coming for the CIL field tonight at Martinsville.
Yeah, they do, and you'd like to point to one cause, Alex, and eradicate it. But we have seen a couple instances where cars thought they were clear going down the straightaway. They were not. We've seen a couple instances where drivers could have used some traction control on corner exit. And the list continues, and I'm afraid that we can't point to one thing. It comes down to short track. Everybody enjoys Bristol, Martinsville, Rockingham, Richmond, and that's the result when everybody gets a little bit excited to go on there. But you mentioned it. We're going to have to keep an eye on that clock and that lap counter as well. Both are going to come into play here as we get this finished out. But Dissy, it looks like the couple of the cars there, those out cars, they have used 2 dead-on tracks, and so that looks like that will be the evening for those cars. So 20 cars remaining in your field at the moment, continuing to run the extra low line, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Alex?
Honestly, maybe it's an elite fuel-saving measure, or maybe it's just, wow, we keep doing these restarts. Let's do something a little silly, goofy to get some entertainment going here while we're under caution. I would believe both, to be honest with you. But the lights are off on the pace car yet again, so we will try this one more time here. Coming to the line, it'll be lap 116 when it goes green, as we see Garrett Vitten going behind the wall backwards. Not entirely sure what's going on there, but either way, the pace car is peeled off. Matthew Morton and Andrew Williams ready to do battle at the front of the field. Toomey and Hundley behind them. Green flag back in the air. Here we go. Williams going to have to try and slide in behind the 13. Able to do so ahead of Toomey. Oh, and Ken Hundley's around off the nose of Matthew Nordberg. Once again, turn one on these restarts, man. Cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, and you know what it was? I saw a twitch out of the 112. That doesn't mean there was fault there, but yeah, that was a little bit tricky because you would ask, where did it start? I don't know. You could have had a little bit of wheel spin right here. Those 2 cars nose to tail already, Alex. So coming to the line a little bit back is the 112. Did he get into the corner a little bit sideways? I don't know. Oh, big touch right there. He almost had it gathered up and around. So again, I don't know. I would be curious to understand if Nordberg thought that was the appropriate braking point. I'm not quite sure there as you roll on. This is what it looked like from his point of view. Coming to the line, go down in the corner. You can see everybody, Alex, getting to their braking point. The nose is down right there on that car, and maybe just a little bit late. Of course, I don't know if the 112. Of course, the 112. I wonder if the 112, Alex, was a little bit early on the brakes just because of how far out the leaders were at that point. Right there, big gap up to the leader, but we may never know.
There's been a lot of cases tonight where a driver in the front half of a nose to tail tries to brake a little earlier into the corner to get a better rotation through the center of the turn, and the car behind him trying to close that gap just a little later on the brakes. And they've met each other repeatedly this evening. So as we see, it looks like the 076 dropping toward the tail end of the field here. not entirely sure how many cars remain on the lead lap. I do believe it's 19, though, just through the frequency of cautions and lucky dogs and all that. So as they'll get re-racked in a moment here. Andrew Williams will be on the outside. Matthew Morton has had that inside on lock on these restarts ever since he's taken the lead about 50 laps ago or so, and he has not looked back since.
No, hasn't looked back. Has been pretty comfortable up at the front. Yeah, I mean, if he's got these restarts figured out, he's probably not too concerned with this. The Ohio State Buckeyes getting an opportunity to get a little head start there at the beginning of each run, but you'd want them to be, you'd want a little bit more challenge from the guys in the back. I'll tell you who is working their way forward. Again, this driver, Zach DeWale, he's trying to get that car pushed up to the front and just needs a couple green flag laps to do it, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a pretty fast car. He led a good chunk of this race. He either has the most laps or second most laps led tonight. It's a pretty close battle between him and Morton right now, because I think DeWale probably led about like 45 or so. And he's been slowly working his way back up to the front, now running in the 5th position. It's taken him some time to get back there, but, he's finally within striking distance again. And as the pace car will once again make that nice left-hander down pit road, Williams will have another opportunity to see if he's got anything for the 13, or if he'll just slot in behind and try and make something happen off of 2. Green flag raised back in the air. Going racing once again at Martinsville. Matthew Morton jumps to the high side ahead of Andrew Williams, and now Thomas Toomey and Connor Levy will battle for 3rd. DeWale and Halterman battling for 5th, and there is just 2x2 all the way through the back of the field.
Hard move down in the corner by the 166. He's using up all that track, a little bit of that 14 car. He's tried to get a run off. I don't know how well that worked, but he's got an opportunity right here. Maybe he had gone in deeper to that corner if that 23 car wasn't there. But man, he sent it. Now he's got that position. Somehow he's got that car rotating. That's a little bit of talent from the Virginia crew right there. But back in the pack, Zach DeWale. Oh, contact! Everybody's still using it up. So no politeness here. I see some excitement back in the pack. It's telling me, and that we do have another yellow.
Yeah, it looks like the caution's out once again. Don't know who it was for. Maybe it was for the 65? It looked like they dropped down the table a little bit. We'll ride on board here with Alex Hallinar in the 057. It's on the inside of Kent Hundley in the 112 at the time.
Oh, it looks like it was in front right
ahead
there. Dustin Buck. Oh, and it was all on behind right there. I don't know if, yeah, it looks like these two drivers were actually trying to get sorted out. So that's Dustin Buck and Clemson University. It's Waldorf University behind right there. And yeah, Andrew Burrell, a little bit off the corner. A run here to the inside. I don't know if it was a run, but yeah, just didn't quite commit fully to that inside line there from Dustin.
Yeah, and just a meeting at the corner, and that's that spot where you saw how light the contact was, but these Gen 4s especially, they're so easy to lose the back end if you make a little bit of contact on that right rear corner panel. And we saw just that, and then the Clemson car goes around, then not really able to avoid the second bit of contact there. It was a 68, and that's what gets the 888 fully perpendicular and takes a couple cars with them, including what looked to be the 057 and the 65.
Yeah, I think that sounds accurate. Maybe a little bit of time as the lucky dog going by, so about 2 laps to go here. But it's looking like your leader right now. A little bit of scuffs on that right front fender. Your Ohio State Buckeyes in that 13 car. Matthew Morton has done his best to get a couple good restarts tonight. A little back further on is Clemson University. Wondering if he can repeat here. Drew Williams in that 23 car. In the 166 is Thomas Toomey. Virginia has kind of jumped up and then had a pretty good time on fresh tires. Took fresh tires for the biggest green flag run we had, and that car has moved up there into 3rd place. 4th place going to be Arizona State University. That's a Connor Levy machine. His teammate a little bit further down at the running order, and St. Clair College in that distinct blue machine. That is the St. Clair College car, Zach DeWale. Sixth position, East Tennessee State University, followed by North Carolina at Charlotte. Clint Halterman has had a rough one, but he is trying to move that 7th place position forward. Dylan Godinez in 8th, and Edward Sanchez up and down tonight, but currently scored 9th for Baruch College. Waldorf University and Dustin Buck right there, 10th position, and I don't see that car at the back of the longest line, so maybe the steward's saying that the 888 car actually turned it down just a touch, and that was a racing incident. But back up at the front, we are on to go. The lights are off on the pace car. So Alex, 30 laps to go here on this, according to the lap counter. You think we'll get a little bit of running in?
I don't know where you're seeing I'm seeing 30 minutes to go. Is that what we're talking?
Excuse me, 70 laps to go. 130 laps in the books.
Gotcha, yeah. And it's funny you say it because it is about 30 minutes to go at this point, about 30 minutes, 30 seconds. But the pace car will peel off yet again here. Matthew Moore and Andrew Williams once again. The front men, Toomey and Levy behind. Green flag waiting in the air for them to take the restart for the umpteenth time this evening. Here goes Matthew Morton. Andrew Williams with a pretty good run up behind. Thomas Toomey thought about diving into the inside there. Wasn't able to get to the corner of the 23, though. And as they go down the backstretch, here goes Zach DeWale on the inside trying to pass Connor Levy. Levy deep onto the brakes on the outside trying to hold on to that position. But it might be an opportunity for DeWale to try and pass Levy using a bit of a screen there from the 166.
Yeah, it is big, deep into the corner, running up almost to the bumper of Virginia, to the door of Arizona State, St. Clair College. That car wiggling all the way down the straightaway. He probably spinning the tires all the way down. These cars have, and contact right there. Looked like a little bit of net code, but well held by the 14, if it indeed was contact. Down into the corner goes the 0-2. He's going to continue and try that movement. He wants that, and it is getting physical here. These drivers want that position. They probably think that both of them can get marching on down the road if only they can get clear. But I'll tell you, getting so deep in the corner is the 14 car, and this battle will have to wait because we will
caution's out
once again.
I tell you what, that was a great effort to defend on the outside by Connor Levy. That is not an easy thing to do, but he was making it work. But we'll cut back a little farther in the field to Nick Stockter and that very battered 124 machine. Let's see if we can see what happened here. He's got the 112 coming down the inside potentially, and same exact thing we just saw with Burl and Dustin Buck. Just a car on the ahead trying to cut down to the corner, a car behind trying to dive into the corner, and it looks like a carbon copy of the last caution there, Josh.
Yeah, I think so. And again, we talked about the risk earlier on in the show. Right here, that's your line is chosen right there, and so it's really a late or maybe an awkward move. It will always be an opinion rather than fact from my position up here in the booth from that Clemson machine. And yeah, Ken Hunley probably a little bit surprised to see that car getting sorted out. So yeah, he's working on him here a couple laps. This is the preceding corner, so getting that car down to the stripe, getting turned on, and going down to the corner. So right here, he's back, and you'd say maybe he's going to make a lunge. And the door is open right here, Alex, and coming in. Now the door starts to close, and the 112 is committed. The key point is that door closed just right after the commitment was made there from Northeast State Technical, from Hunley. So, yeah, that's going to be a gray area for the stewards. But to all the young, aspiring sim racers out there, I'd say again, we go back to the risk of the move, especially here at these short tracks.
Yeah, short track racing is not for the faint of heart and not for the lightened stamina. That is for sure. That seems to be the case here tonight. Is you really need to be nailing these restarts. Matthew Morton hasn't slipped up once since he's taken the lead, but with how many restarts there are, it only takes one for something to happen, I guess. But he's done a really good job maintaining the field up front. Williams is still holding on to second at the moment. Toomey and DeWale will be your new row 2 after DeWale got by Connor Levy. So it's going to say that the 02 was able to clear at the time of caution, but he definitely was not clear on track. He may have just had a nose ahead. So tough break for the driver of the 14, who was doing a really good job defending on the outside. But now he'll have the opportunity on the inside to maybe get a little bit of revenge there and try and get that position back.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case. I think some of these drivers, as we continue to see this action tonight, I think some of these drivers are going to become continually less enthused with their competition. And so you may see more moves like that. But that's one pattern I've seen, is that late awkward stroll down from maybe that second lane to the inside. And then the other move that we've seen is coming into corner entrance. There's a lot of drivers diving from that outside aggressively down inside, trying to kind of prevent the crossover move, if you will. And again, you can do it, but all in good patience here. So back up at the front, Alex. We're going to go green. The Buckeyes are away, and actually a little bit of a lazy start there from Virginia. So Clemson comfortably in that second position. And now Clemson, now it's the 0-2's turn to be on the outside. He was previously hustling on the inside around the Sun Devils right there, but we're going to see what he can do. That's Zach DeWale, St. Clair College. Yeah, run up the corner. That's pretty much what you got to do. Get a run off the corner, and the best thing he's going to do is keep a fender there while the other driver...
And the caution is out once again here at Martinsville. Stop me if you've heard me saying that before, Josh.
Oh, I don't think so. In fact, I see the 124 on pit road, but we will have to see what that came out for.
I don't even know. I could not tell you. It was not on screen at the time. We were watching a decent battle for third and fourth. But let's see if we can find a replay and find just what happened there that potentially involved the 124, as he's now on pit road. All right, so we see. Well, there's the 124.
He was on pit road at the time, so maybe we'll have to look elsewhere, unfortunately. And I did hear some. Oh, there it was right there.
Yeah.
Looks like Alex Hallinar was involved in some manner, and Tyler Klingensmith as well. Had a little bit of an issue right there. And this is everybody coming down the inside. Everybody trying to agree on the braking point, and getting through this corner all right. Oh, and a move looks like just was not ready to get on the brakes. So Hallinar and Binghamton University trying to get on the brakes sooner. And actually, surprised that brought out a caution. Everybody seemed to get moving back under their own power right there. Even Klingensmith as well. But yeah, that's gonna be tricky, and that'll probably be a strike there. You've got to anticipate the condition of the cars and the tires in front of you. I know everybody wants to get back to the gas, but got to do it in a safe manner.
Yeah, and I mean, they had it was one of the rare cautions that everything had settled out going into the corner, and it was actually exiting the corner that was the issue that time around. Just looks like the 65 wasn't able to get up to speed quite at the same pace as the 057, and the 057 clearly had a better launch coming through the corner, and that was evident there in the rate of closing as they were coming off of turn 4. But at this point here, I'm keeping an eye on the timer. 58 laps to go, but more pressingly, Josh, there's only about 23 minutes left in the race.
Yeah, and these drivers, they know that. Here we see Zach DeWale. He's trying to get cooled off here before he gets going, as he knows it's going to come down to it here in the end. So these drivers are going to have to get either we're going to do this the rest of the night, Alex, or they'll have to be a little bit more patient. But again, we've seen kind of a lot of odd moves, a little bit of impatience, and so sometimes the short track brings that out. We can look back several seasons ago at an enjoyable Martinsville race. We can look back a little bit more recently at a pretty fun race at Bristol Motor Speedway last season. But it looks like this one is just going to be one of those races. And I remember a couple times as well watching these cars run in person when I was living near Bristol. Sometimes you set a new record for cautions. And actually not sure what the number is here tonight, Alex, but it's an opportunity for us for sure.
All I know, to my understanding from my sources, is saying that we haven't hit it yet, but we're getting pretty close. If we keep up this rate, we might hit it by the time it's all said and done, is all I'm aware of. But lights are off on the pace car. They're going to try this one more time. No changes through the top 6 cars there. Here comes the group back to the green flag. flag in the air. It's going to be Morton on the inside once again. Will he be able to continue to hold on to that inside line? Here they get going back to the throttle. That 13 just gets such a good launch going down the straightaway. Williams slides in the second. Here comes the battle on behind. Once again, Matthew Morton is checked out on yet another restart.
He is. Oh, big trouble slip from North Carolina State. Good avoiding action from the cars in that fiasco. Back up here, Arizona State is trying to stem the bleeding just a little bit, trying to get that car in line somewhere. Looks like it's going to occur in 6th position behind the Buccaneers. The 49ers are behind. They got to hold off Baruch College at this point in time, but going to be looking forward quite quickly, trying to see what they can do in that instance.
Yeah, now everything has started to single file out just a little bit, as now we see the 166 closing right up to the back bumper of the 02. That was a position that he lost for third, trying to reclaim it here. Zach DeWale now has his eyes set on the back bumper of Andrew Williams. This could potentially shake up the that starting row once again if there is another caution. If DeWale is able to make that pass, it would put probably the 2 cars with the most laps led tonight at the front of the field for, I think, the first time all night, if not only the second. So we'll see if DeWale has anything for Andrew Williams, as Williams gets really loose off the corner. Here comes DeWale charging into turn 1, able to take away the position before they even reach the center. Looking for the switchback, though, is the 23. He's now on the inside, looking to reclaim second. Not able to get that car turned around quite enough on entry, but obviously that shorter line in Martinsville is so powerful when you're on the inside.
Yeah, it is, and good on the 0-2 here. He's trying to run out. Both those cars trying to run out wide, get that run off, but yeah, 23 doing that on the inside is a little bit unique. Toomey to the inside. Virginia looking down. He's going to drive that car in deep. Now we'll see the outer line defense there from the 23. Virginia is going to go into the corner. Can they get the job done? That 23 is hanging pretty tough, Alex.
Yeah, he's certainly trying. He's running in 4th right now, but might have an opportunity to finally get back in line. Nope. As I said, here comes Cody Hunley of ETSU to the inside, and Connor Levy's looking to follow him through. Clemson just not being able to find their way back to the inside lane here. Side by side with the 110. Now the 110 going to pull ahead through the corner, opening the door for the 14 to get to the inside. It is Arizona State now trying to get a bumper in. But an early break by the 110 and a late break by the 23 pulls Clemson back even, and the caution waves once again here on lap 153. The 124's night continues to get worse.
Yeah, that car. I think the comments may be correct. That car looking like it's ready to become a modified at this point. Looks like he's going to let the field pass, but we can see for what reason. And yeah, it looks like getting in the corner. He's under Waldorf University right here. Looks like he's having to give a little bit of room to Clemson teammate up ahead. That's Nick Stockner trying to get down in the corner all by himself. And ooh, maybe just that brake bias a little bit far back. That's kind of the first mid-corner entrance that we've seen. So yeah, a little bit too much rotation getting into the corner, Alex, and we can add that to our list of patterns that we've seen tonight, bringing out this yellow flag.
Yeah, and there's been no shortage of them. But that one, a surprisingly unique one for all the different ones we've had tonight. You know, if we're trying to collect them all like they were different Pokemon, that might be one of the rare ones you only find at the end of the game. But if we see a number of takers on pit road here, as this might be the final time we see them come down pit road for anything non-damage related. This could be a final opportunity for some tires and fuel here with only 18 minutes or 17 minutes to go, just about, and about 45 laps left.
Yeah, these drivers are probably getting ready to see. That was shaping up there to be kind of entertaining, but yeah, just a little bit of over rotation there from the 1-2-4 car, and that's going to be tricky for that driver. That his night continues, as you said, and it looks like a few of us have adopted the fuel saving line as we go around this area right here. But I'll tell you, this is one to watch. So these two leaders traditionally, Alex, on these restarts have been getting a jump And so it's going to be your second row. It's going to be Thomas Toomey there on the inside. It's going to be Clemson's Drew Williams there on the outside, who won last week at Chicagoland. And that's going to be something to watch. Those two drivers are going to be eager to get in line and to compete, get that third spot. They're going to want that final podium spot.
You certainly are, but if you're looking at this battle up front, Matthew Morton's led the most laps tonight. Zach Durrell's led the second most. This could be a very spicy battle for the lead, especially as we're starting to get to a point where if you're in the car, your team's probably telling you, hey, more than likely this is going to end on time, not laps. So if you're going to make a move, you've got about 16 minutes to do it. But here we go, lights out on the pace car. Morton and DeWale on the front row. Toomey and Williams, row 2. Hundley and Levy, row 3. Then it is Sanchez and Hundley, and then Vinton and Burrell rounding out the top 10. Pace car peels off down pit road. It's had a busy night already. Morton takes him around turn 4 once again. Green flag high in the sky. Barney the flagman drops it down, racing once again at Martinsville. Morton gets a great jump. DeWales jumps in the second. Toomey looking to the inside of Williams as they round through the corner. And they're leaning on each other a little bit on the exit of 2. Toomey still on the inside here. Gets a nose ahead, not quite able to clear him yet. Now able to off of turn 4. Thomas Toomey in third as it currently runs. And Cody Hundley and Connor Levy still duking it out for 5th.
That's exactly what's going on. Slight advantage. I see Baruch College back there. Oh, trouble in the back. It looks like Tim Wilms is around, and so is Andrew Burrell. If somebody was having a night, he might have taken the crown, I think, from Matthew Nordberg in North Carolina State. Andrew Burrell is probably ready to pack up that Featherlight trailer.
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him either. There's not much of that car left, it looks like, as we see the 888 there on the outside of Ryan Wilson in the 56 gets a little high, able to slide back in behind Timothy Wilms. Oh, and just one of them was either really early or really late on the brakes. Couldn't tell you which. It looked like the 888 probably was just a little too aggressive into the corner, but that was just me from that angle. It could be very different when we get a different angle of it.
Yeah, that could be. The 86 right here, he's got his teammate behind, looking into the corner. Yeah, I think that was probably a little bit of both. I think that was probably a little bit conservative from the 86. And we have seen that, especially on the iRacing side in road and multi-class. You get drivers breaking early ahead of time, trying to be either conservative for themselves or give way to another car, and it breeds its own issues. But yeah, obviously right there, Burrell, I think, was probably trying to follow that car, and maybe a little bit of tunnel vision. We may never know, but that was the outcome. Back up at the front. So this battle's going to continue. Thomas Toomey and Drew Williams. And I'll tell you what I was enjoying back a little bit further was Cody Hundley and Connor Levy. And that's Arizona State University trying to work their way around East Tennessee State. They'll be on the outside for this restart. But I'll tell you who was looking all right was Baruch College, Edward Sanchez. He was looking pretty good there on the webcam. That is Edward for Baruch. He's trying to get that car pointed the right direction, and it's a good time to be in the top 10 right now, Alex.
Yeah, especially because as this race goes on, you're running out of time to get there if you're not currently in it. So you got to be in the hunt in order to have a chance, and he's doing about as much as he can right now to stay in the mix. Matthew Morton, I tell you what, he's got great restart speed. Couldn't tell you if he's got the long run speed to match because we haven't had one all night. But that may be DeWale's best shot, is if there's an extended green flag run. Because right now, Matthew Morton has just been flawless on these restarts.
Yeah, he has. And we're going to have an opportunity here to ride on board with Edward Sanchez as he gets dialed up for this restart, but that's going to give us the best view, Alex, of this battle right here. Arizona State trying to work from the high lane, starting 6th position on this restart, down to the bottom there to that low line that seems to be preferred here tonight, especially on these worn tires.
Yeah, and as this continues, it's just going to be more and more critical to hold on to track position, especially once you start getting a couple laps in, because that outside line more or less just kind of dissolves. But yeah, a quick look at the field shows still 14 cars on the lead lap. Or yeah, 16 cars on the lead lap. Sorry. So 16 cars still on the lead lap here, led by Morton and DeWale. A little bit of a checkup there as everyone's trying to get themselves sorted for the restart. Pace car peels in. Only about 12, 11 minutes to go here. Flag in the air. Racing once again at Martinsville. Here goes Morton. Jumps up in front of DeWale. Toomey looking to the inside of the O2, trying to reclaim a spot that's one step higher on the podium here. He's got a pretty good run going into turn 3.
This is going to be aggressive from Thomas, and Zach DeWale's not going to be afraid to fight it. Yeah, contact on the exit. Both cars pointed straight, though. Neither of those are a surprise. These are two drivers that I would expect to hang it out a little bit more. There's the 0-2. Yeah, he went so deep in the corner, and I think that was not the answer. I was going to be impressed if that worked, Alex. But down into the corner, the 166 now has an opportunity to be a little aggressive, and the yellow is out again. Sideways, and around goes Toomey. Around goes Toomey. I don't think that was just a function of those cars getting slowed up there for that yellow. Maybe Toomey lifting a little bit sooner than some of those drivers anticipated, but it seems to be the case right there.
My best guess is that the caution came out, and as Toomey launched that into turn 3, and I think he was subsequently getting loose unrelated to the caution and had a little bit of contact with Zach DeWale as it all kind of came together. This looks to be an old restart, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, that was several cautions ago. Ken Hundley going around.
There it was.
Yeah, there it is. And everyone trying just to find their way through. Edward Sanchez, Kent Hundley on the not fun end of that exchange.
Yeah, all these drivers trying to get sorted out here. Not sure where. So a couple of these drivers were looking forward, and where was the contact? Definitely further up the road. Actually, it looks like, yeah, there it was. Maybe Baruch College was involved a little bit. Kent Hundley around as well. So it looks like just another one getting into the corner. In fact, if we take a moment here to back up, Alex, it looks like that all these drivers are trying to agree into the corner. I assume that 112 is leaving. Everybody's braking looks pretty polite. And actually, the 26 had it right there. Maybe the 26 let off the brake. That seems to be kind of the scenario there for that driver.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty plausible case. But you know, just another day at the office for the flagman Barney throwing that yellow. He's had a lot of practice with it tonight, as we see just everyone trying to sort themselves out. Ken Huntley trying not to drive through the cars ahead of him. Baruch College a little eager to get into that corner behind him, and we've seen it happen so much here tonight, where it's just the car in front tries going a little softer into the corner, and the car behind tries going a little deeper, and how short these straightaways are really sneak up on you when you're not careful, especially with how much start and stop there is. But it looks like Edward Sanchez is out of the car now, so that might be the end of his day, which now means there are 5 cars scored as out of the race, although they are not the bottom 5 cars, as there are still a couple of cars trying to get some laps back on track. Jason Wallet has somehow regained 7 laps. He was 13 laps down at one point. Due to the number of cautions, he's only 6. You know, we're not going to have the time for it, but if this kept going, he might just get himself back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that'd be a possibility. The thing that stood out to me about that incident was Baruch College had that car slowed up. The gap was constant going into that corner, to that corner entrance. And I think he just wanted to roll that center a little bit. I think he actually lifted off the brakes. I think the driver in front of him did not. And that was the outcome right there. But Still excited for this one. We're going to see these two drivers try and battle. The 166 gets his turn on the outside. The roles are reversed. Zach DeWale, St. Clair College, will try and get themselves sorted out in the middle. There they go away. Zach DeWale is going to come down. Yeah, Thomas Toomey closing that door. We talked about that risk, but he's a driver that's going to take that, and these drivers know that. Looks like on the outside, Arizona State trying to work to the outside. That's Connor Levy. What kind of defense can he put on from the outside? You see he's got that car pointed out. He's got a little bit of run. That's what you got to do to get the run off the corner, Alex, but it's going to be tough to hang on that outside for the end of this race.
Yeah, his only saving grace is that Zach DeWale hasn't been able to make a ton of progress on the inside because he keeps getting a mirror full of the back of Thomas Toomey's car. And that's allowing the 14 to kind of stay in the hunt through the corner, and then he gets a little bit of a better run down the straightaway. Finally has to resign that position is not going to be his for the moment, but he is going to be able to slide in line ahead of Andrew Williams and hold on to the 4th position. As Halterman dives down on Cody Hundley a couple positions back, he'll take away the 6th position here. Hundley now on the back door of Andrew Williams. A lot of those cars in the top 10 looking a little worse for wear as contact between the 808 and the 110. They both kept it fine and forward, but they are getting familiar with themselves. As now Zach DeWale looked to the inside, but that car really shook under braking, not able to get the angle that he wanted, and Thomas Toomey is finally going to be able to get a little bit of distance from the car behind him.
Yeah, we'll see if anybody has anything for Ohio State right now. That's not the first time we've said that this season. Everybody a little bit cautious down under braking as we go into the final corner. Clint Halterman trying to choose that high line, seeing if he can get anything done there. Looking to the inside, Clemson under Arizona State University. Down into the first corner, it's heavy on the brakes. Contact for both cars. Around goes the 23. Is it saved? He'll keep that car rolling. Do we get a yellow? We do not. That car keeps rolling forward, and that was always going to be a very ambitious move from the 23, Alex.
Yeah, he figured he'd take a shot here late in this race, less than 5 minutes to go on the timer, but that backfired in a pretty gnarly way there. So instead of running for 3rd and 4th, he now has to settle in back in 12th position there, now make it 11th as he gets around Tyler Klingensmith. But the battle up ahead here, Clint Halterman and Connor Levy going door to door here. This is the battle for the 4th position. Levy on the outside, Halterman on the inside as they try and make their way through 1 and 2. They'll remain side by side down the backstretch. Levy with a nose ahead but has to get on the brakes earlier here. Halterman trying to use that inside line to his advantage. Just barely able to clear but not clear enough to slide up. And now we'll look to do so coming off of 1 and 2 here. Finally gets firm control of the position. And he will now be running in 4th place after a spirited battle with Connor Levy.
Yeah, I think that's the outcome. And there's another. They're not done yet up here, up at the front, Alex. Down into this corner. This is turn 1 and 2. Zach DeWale continuing to drive the tires off of that machine. He's going to look down low. A little bit of slip for Virginia off the corner.
Yeah, and as Zach DeWale continues to hound the back bumper of Thomas Toomey, this is the battle for 2nd and 3rd. You see the leader, Matthew Morton, is checked out to a 1.6 second gap. Thomas Toomey is holding on to 2nd right now. Still has a few more minutes that he'll need to do so to hold on to 2nd here over Zach DeWale. But the two of them have more or less pulled away from Clint Halterman, who's now a 2nd back of them. You see Halterman there in that white and green Niner Esports car with a very caved-in front and a very bent-up rear. He's just trying to get that thing to the finish here, currently running 4th. Connor Levy rounding out the top 5 as it stands. Only about 3 minutes to go on the timer, so 3 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. We are on scheduled lap 184, so they'll get close to the scheduled distance, but I think this one's going to end on timer, Zach. Oh my God.
Yeah, I think so. Here we go. Down into the corner, DeWale looking low. What can he do? He's going to get that job done off, well, almost. They're bumper to bumper across the line. Back to turn 1 they go, Alex.
Yeah, back to when they go. Zach DeWale able to make the pass, score him now in second place here. Toomey trying to get back on the inside, late on the brakes, but not able to get to the inside of the O2. Zach DeWale going to start pulling away here, but Thomas Toomey can't rest at all because now Clint Halterman's on the scene, and he's going to look away to take away that final podium spot. He was looking a half a lane higher, now maybe looking to the inside down the backstretch. We'll see what he does going into 3.
Pole sitter UNC Charlotte, they have much fresher tires, and you can bet they're going to try and spoil this party as best they can. We'll see if that comes in the form of braking or just trying to move around the outside, but looking underneath Virginia right here. Clint Halterman's going to come off this corner. He's going to look. It's a look to the inside. Is it late on the brakes? No, it's not. All fair play right there. A little bit early to drive ourselves off into the fence in such a rousing fashion. And Niner Esports continuing to work on this Virginia car. You don't want to let him get too far away, though. Those tires, we can see those lap times. Well, now the battle's on, so the lap times will lie a little bit. Moving to the inside, we saw he had the pace. Niner Esports, and not much room there from Thomas Toomey. Oh, and it looked like he closed the door. I think Clint Halterman making the conscious decision there not to take out that Virginia car. And there you go, brake rotors glowing red on that Cavalier machine, Alex. This is the battle for the 3rd place.
Yeah, only 1 minute to go on that timer, 1 minute plus 1 lap. And I think you're absolutely right. Halterman could have chose not to back out, but instead elected to keep the both of them facing forward, because that was a very late block from Toomey. As Toomey locks up, a little bit of contact. He keeps it forward, but the brake lockup allows Halterman to get by. Here goes Connor Levy, and if Thomas Toomey's not careful, he could lose more. It looks like he's back to the throttle here, holding on to the 5th position. But he's going to have to be really careful, as now Dustin Buck and Matthew Nordberg battling for 9th and 10th as they run. But now less than 30 seconds to go on the timer.
Yeah, and that car number running 10th right now, 076 North Carolina State. That's if they can come out here with the top 10, that's going to be a great result for that car. Up here, Cody Hundley, he's under a little bit of fire from Dylan Godinez there for this spot here, 6th place. I don't know if Dylan will be so motivated to put the bumper here as these drivers are semi-sorted out. Yeah, we're coming down to it. It's not the white flag yet, and Clint Halterman, those new tires continue to make up a little bit of time on the leader right here. Look at that last lap times. 0.2 faster a lap here at this Martinsville Speedway, and so I don't know if he'll make the move right there. The checkered flag is
give
out.
Us the white flag, so that's going to do it. Matthew Morton picks up the win here tonight at Martinsville. Zach DeWale will hold off Clint Halterman for 2nd. Levy and Toomey round out the top 5. Yeah, we did not get any indication that we were on the final lap. They just said, nope, the checker's out as we've hit the timer. This race will finish on scheduled lap 194 of 200. But Matthew Morton and Ohio State, they'll pick up their 3rd victory of the Garage Shop College Cup Series summer season here in 7 races. That number 13 back to victory lane once again. And his ability to do restarts tonight was the key to that win.
Well, it's so fun to be the control car. You get to pick when everybody else goes. You can roll into that throttle. Everybody else is trying to catch up to you. So good on, well-earned Ohio State University. Let's not forget that Matthew Morton started much further down in the pack outside the top 10 and made the most of all his opportunities to march forward tonight. And so that is certainly one that is commendable there for that driver.
Yeah, absolutely. So congrats to them. And honestly, what a battle tonight from everyone. I mean, it was just a all-out war from the drop of the green flag, and it never let up.
No, it didn't let up. These drivers were, I think you mentioned it, battling. They were conducting war from the green flag to the checkered flag. And again, it was interesting to see. Sometimes drivers decide that they really want to go for it, and then you get in a situation where you feel like there are no green flag runs. These drivers might feel like there's a yellow coming, and you have just a very limited time to make up positions on track, and that drives that behavior. And so, a variety of driving that we saw out there tonight. but nonetheless, very fun up at the front. Alex, we saw Virginia and Arizona State going for it. We saw St. Clair College battling just about everybody in the top 10. We did get to see Ohio State march through the field, and a number of other cars. In fact, we saw Clemson University and Andrew Williams hang really tough on the outside for a long time. That was very fun to watch from the drivers.
You bet. Let's take a second here to talk to our podium. It is first up, our third place finisher tonight, Clint Halterman out of UNC Charlotte. Clint, congrats on the podium finish. Looks like you were really making a late charge there. If this went to scheduled distance as opposed to ending on timer, do you think you could have taken second from Zach DeWale?
I think it's possible. I don't remember what lap it was, but I just decided one of those cautions come get fresh tires running eighth. Just decided why not, and I guess that made all the difference. I definitely was faster than Zach, but I just was. It's hard to pass here, as you can see by all the cautions because were just running into each other. So I was just gonna try and get by him cleanly, and I didn't do that to Thomas. I apologize to him. I think he kind of missed the corner there, and I couldn't get checked up in time. But yeah, maybe I could have got to Zach, but I'll take a P3 with. I think I was in the front, in the back, in the front, and the back all day. So
Well, I'll tell you what, congrats, Clint. P3 here was turned out to be no small feat. And yeah, it was fun to watch you run up through the field on those new tires. Damage on the car. Most cars had their own personality out there tonight. And was there any damage that really affected these cars as far as fender, cosmetics, or toe damage?
I don't. It's hard to say. I felt like I did the dumbest thing ever at one caution where just my instinct was the caution comes out is to immediately save fuel. So going into three and I push in the clutch and then I just forgot that to brake for the corner and I just went flying into the wall and gave myself right front damage there. And the car felt maybe a little bit tight after that. But it was hard to really say. Obviously arrows just isn't the most important thing here. So I think I don't think I think the damage for everybody was probably affecting them a little bit, but not enough to make a huge difference.
Well, there you have it. Before we let you go, Clint, is there anybody that you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, just thank my friends and family. Thank y'all for putting up with that race, and for calling that race and officiating the race, and yeah.
Congratulations, Clint. Niner Esports P3 was a good job tonight, and enjoy your evening.
All right, thank you guys. You too.
Yeah, Alex, that tracks. I think that it was kind of tough, just maybe not so stimulating to see the pace cars move around, but in the end, there Niner Esports did make a strategy call there at the end to come out third place, and they were marching at the end of that one.
Yeah, they absolutely were. Speaking of a car that was on a march through a good bit of the race, having an opportunity here to talk to a second place finisher, Zach DeWale. Zach, you had the car early on, and then you kind of got stuck back in traffic a little bit. What was it like trying to battle back through the field, having to re-rack for a restart every 3 laps?
Frustrating, very frustrating. I knew I had the speed to make the spots back up if it had actually gone green, but of course that didn't happen. So we just had to just keep the car as clean as I could. I knew I was already sitting on one strike and I couldn't afford another, so just tried to keep the nose clean and stay out of trouble as much as we could with how chaotic this race was.
Yeah, Zach, it was kind of tough out there, and we were trying to categorize or bucket the patterns that we saw as we were hanging out here up in the booth. We had a bit of time to do so, as you can imagine. So, it seemed like there wasn't one big cause, and we'll let you confirm or deny here in a minute. There were blocks into corners. There were drivers that thought they had traction control on corner exit, but from your perspective up in the wheel, you did get to drive through the field at one point. Was there anything that you can point to?
I think the big thing is these cars, they don't have the best brakes, so we have to brake a lot longer in these cars than a lot of these guys are used to from driving the next gen for the last few seasons. And then that, just on top of this being such a tight track with like long straight and very tight corners, that just makes those braking zones so long. So if you miss it, you can lock up and go through the guy in front of you, or you can hop the rear wheels and then you're cleaning out all the guys in front of you anyway. So it's hard to say the causes. It's just a lot of guys getting aggressive and getting mad too. I'm sure it didn't help, but these cars are hard to drive. Like the braking is very difficult in these cars. So I think that was a big cause for tonight's calamity, I'll say.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. This has that's been a feature of this season in these cars and has produced some exciting events at other tracks, but maybe not here at Martinsville Speedway. So before we turn you loose tonight, is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to or thank?
Yeah, for sure. Emily and Riley, as always, and Jordan for supporting me and watching the races. Everyone working on this beautiful 02 Chevy Impala. Is it an Impala? Sorry, yeah, the Chevy Impala. Yeah, it was fun when we actually got to race today.
Chevy Impala is correct, and so congrats.
How much do I get for getting the car right?
I don't know. We'll have to consult the rule book there, but nonetheless, yeah, second place is no slouch here tonight. It was tough out there, as they say, and second place for you in St. Clair College. Congratulations and enjoy your evening.
Thanks, man. You too.
Yeah, Alex, Zach DeWale from St. Clair College, and I think maybe echoing what we said up in the booth, just patience in short supply tonight.
Yeah, it really was, and we'll have an opportunity now to talk with our race winner. It is Matthew Morton for the Ohio State University. Congrats on the win. I would talk us through what you had to do to win, but really it was just, what was your strategy to keep winning every restart you were the control car for? Because you looked like you didn't have a bad restart all night.
Well, it was it was pretty easy. I mean, I just had to get a good launch off the line, and if I just maintain the lead for the 5 laps, I felt like I could just keep the lead. It wasn't complicated at all.
So Matthew, well, congratulations first on the win for yourself in Ohio State. And yeah, back up at the front there, I think the race started. We were surprised to do the grid, saw you down there in the teens, the 2-digit numbers. But tell us about your early drive through the field and how did you keep all the fenders on that car?
I I had a bad quali run. I locked up the brakes into turn 1 on my 3 laps, so yeah, I had to start back in 16th, but working back through the field, it was just being patient and just don't cause too many issues. I mean, if I just had a if I had a clean restart, I was able to gain probably 2 positions, and then once I got to the top 5 later in the race, I could just race it out for position and not have too many problems. So it was not a complicated night from my standpoint. So
You may be one of the few who can say that tonight. But before we let you go, is there anybody that you want to thank, that you want to shout out this evening?
yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for making this series possible, and like to thank the sponsor, the Garage Shop. I'm pretty sure. Sponsor, yep, sponsoring this series, making this possible. So, again, just thank you guys, and I'm looking forward to next week.
I think we are too. I think a lot of drivers might be in that boat, but congrats. That's another win for Ohio State University and yourself, Matt. Congrats. Have a good night.
Thank you guys. Go Bucks.
And he doesn't miss the Go Bucks, does he, Matthew?
No,
Morton,
he makes sure he hits it every time.
Well, you love to see it. These drivers out here putting their colors in victory. And the passion, even on, we'll say, a rainy night, that these drivers share to get the job done. But Alex, I think we can take a moment. Our breath is now collected. We can go to the results on this one.
You bet.
Yeah, I think we have them. The Garage Shop final results.
Yes, so Matthew Morton picks up the win tonight for Ohio State University in dominating fashion on those restarts. Zach DeWale and Clint Halterman for St. Clair and UNC Charlotte respectively round out the podium. Connor Levy brings it home 4th for Arizona State. Thomas Toomey 5th for the University of Virginia. Cody Hunley in 6th for ETSU. Dylan Gadina is 7th. Ryan Wilson battles back for Minnesota State Mankato in 8th. Andrew Williams 9th. And Dustin Buck for Waldorf University rounds out your top 10. 11th is Matthew Nordberg for North Carolina State. Robert Morris's Tyler Klingensmith brings it home 12th as the last car on the lead lap. Timothy Williams is 13th for Drexel, 14th Kent Hunley for Northeast State Technical. Alex Hallinar for Binghamton is 15th. Garrett Vitton, 16th for Arizona State University. 17th is Jason Wollett for Drexel. 18th is Spencer Brown for UNC Charlotte. 19th, Edward Sanchez for Baruch College. 20th, Andrew Burrell for Clemson University. 21st, also from Clemson University, it's Nick Stockner. And rounding out the field tonight in 22nd, it is Tony Brown from the Queen's University of Charlotte. So that is your final finishing order here tonight. Josh, any final thoughts from what was a battle of attrition here at Martinsville?
No, I think I spent all my thoughts trying to fill the action there on some of those pace laps. I mean, we've seen it in the mid 2000s when these cars would go to Bristol and Richmond, and just one of those nights couldn't get anything going. And I think everybody is looking forward to next Monday night, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Next Monday night is the final race of the regular season, the final opportunity to qualify for the Garage Shop College Cup Series playoffs. That is going to be a can't-miss event, and personally, I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, and I think it's going to be a little bit crazy as they head to Kentucky Speedway for the Bluegrass 200. Actually, next week is the off week, according to the schedule. July 3rd is off. July 10th is Kentucky, so we actually might see him in 2 weeks.
That's correct. Everybody here in the United States going to be a little bit preoccupied there on that July 3rd, so we made it easy. Everybody can do as they will, and that's a good catch, Alex. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks' time.
That we will. So, for Josh and the rest of the CIL, thank you all for tuning in. I've been Alex Gagnon. We will catch you in 2 weeks' time for the regular season finale of the Garage Shop College Cup Series from Kentucky Speedway. But until then, we'll see you next time.